Greetings, welcome to the Book of Eli Club. We haven't figured out a name.
They were definitely not calling it that.
We haven't. Well, it was my idea,
huh?
but we can't go. No, I know we can't call it that. We can't because
we
you're
definitely
involved.
call it the Book of Joseph. No, in all seriousness though.
Yeah. So the idea of this podcast is we're going to review books, and we're just going to talk about them in depth because. I like to read, and one thing that I find annoying is that I don't know anybody who does read. So when I read a good book, I don't have anyone to speak to. So, now you have someone to speak to us. So I force him to read books so that I can talk to him and we can have a chat about it.
I'm the real reader.
And also, that's another thing. He is a writer, and we will do his book sooner or later. But he brings the expertise to the table. So I'm a professional overthinker. So the things I'm going to come up with, on this book that we're reading, you're going to say, "What the hell? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Who thinks of that type of stuff?" But I am very analytical. But you will see anyway as we go forward. So if you could introduce the book, I know it's called The Fourth Wing by Rebecca
Yarros.
Rebecca Yarros. We should really get the blurb of the book, really.
We should get the blurb of the book.
I read that. Should have done.
Do you know what? But that's what I said about remember the last one where I was like, we should have got the prop. But I haven't seen it. I even looked. I didn't see it anywhere, I didn't see it anywhere in the shops in like W.H. Smith, nothing like that.
Okay, well, I assume if you want to know the blurb on the book, pause it and go and fucking read it. Type it in and read the blurb. Anyway, you should have read this book. If you're looking at the reviews, you should have read this book.
Literally.
So I'm going to start with my first point of the book. Actually, what would you rate the book?
That's interesting. I was wondering whether we was going to start or end with that, the rating.
What would you rate it?
Interestingly, I would rate it... Just fair warning, my ratings would be very harsh. I would rate it 6.5 out of 10. 6.5.
I would probably go with that. Okay, it's very difficult for me to rate things because I'm an overthinker and everything's complicated. But I think if you like fantasy, then you will probably like the book and I would recommend it to you. I'd say, have you read The Fourth Wing? But if you don't like fantasy, I would not recommend the book to you at all whatsoever. Definitely. I wouldn't say it's worth reading. It's interesting and I don't particularly like fantasy, but I still enjoyed it. But I wouldn't recommend it to someone who doesn't like fantasy.
It was definitely written as classical fantasy. Definitely, 100%. Let's say that for various reasons. Yeah. But we'll get into that. Let's go with your first point.
Disclaimer, my first point is kind of rubbish because I listened to this on audiobook and I drive and I wasn't really paying attention for the first...
Fake reading.
Well, it's not. No. We're going to get in... No, we're not getting into that. I'm trying to get into the book, right? But the main character... But she's very strange. She seems like a sensitive person, especially towards her family's opinions of her. But in the same breath, she wants to be a dragon rider, and they have to kill people. So it didn't make sense to me what was going on, because I didn't realise in the beginning that she was actually forced to do this, which is a weird concept in itself anyway. But yeah, do you want to go?
I don't think that's a rubbish point. I don't actually think that's a rubbish point. I have a similar point. It wasn't my first one. I have a similar point. I said, why doesn't she just go to the scribe quadrant? Seems like it'd be a way better plan.
You didn't understand either then?
No, I did. At the beginning, I understood that she was being forced because there was a whole scene where she and Mira...
But if you know she's being forced, why would you say, why don't she just go to the scribe?
Because there was that moment where, what's his name, Dane?
Well, that was further down.
That was further down, but it was like, she would have got away with it.
I thought, why don't she just run away? Anything. I mean, instead of facing your death, because I mean, it was kind of certain that she was going to die.
Because it was like, these men have trained for their whole life.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, you've had like 6 months. But that's another point that I'm going to get on.
Yeah, I put the main character's sister, who's Mira. I said she's a machine. The lack of feeling that she had as she's sending her sister potentially to her death, I couldn't imagine being that calm and collected, especially when you know that girl, Violet, had not trained. No, she hadn't got. She didn't even know what she was doing. She was carrying on, her sister had to repack her bag. And if you need your bag packing when you're about to
on the day,
when you're about to, and she's arguing, you're gone.
I want to bring these books. Nah, don't start. Mira, I was very impressed with her because not only, as you said, she was cool, she was calm, she was collected. She said, my best plan, convince the general not to do this. When that plan failed, she said, plan B, get her ready. Give it an elbow, give it a this, give her that, give her boots. Make sure, she's good. And when she got up on the thing, she was the best prepared out of literally all of them.
What are you talking about?
Violet, she was the best prepared when she got up on the bridge thing.
Oh well, yeah, of course, yeah, because she had a sister. Well,
Yeah, literally, she was best. Mira prepared.
I just want to just so that we get this out of the way. I think Violet is an absolute idiot. I think she's useless. I think she's a piece. She doesn't deserve. She doesn't deserve anything. She doesn't deserve anything everywhere. She's completely rubbish. She's probably one of the worst main characters worst hero main characters I've ever read anywhere.
She's very absolutely. There was not a single reason for you to like or root for her in a single way. Like nothing. There's nothing there.
Also, I thought the premise of the book is very weird. There seems to be no mention of don't kill the general's daughter because after the games she's gonna come to you, make your life difficult.
Daughter.
Do you know what I mean?
This is like, general's daughter.
In the games, yeah, it's permissible, but in reality, what do you think is gonna happen to your family? She's just gonna be like. Yeah, you know, dictator.
The dictator.
Aladdin.
Yeah, nah.
You know what I mean?
You can't mess with the general's general's daughter. Not even to say like the captain's the general's daughter. We're talking top rank here. You can't get higher than general.
I also put. What's he gonna go?
I got one, but come on.
I was gonna say why is running away not an option? Her mother has forced her to join dragon school. Why don't she just run away instead of going to her death? Why is her friend the only person acting in the correct manner? Even her sister is acting like it's nothing, sort of thing. Like, that's the last time she's going to see her sister.
On average, literally. Odds are.
I mean, come
again. Literally. Because you have to wait a year, bruv.
To speak. Yeah.
Not going to survive a year. I thought, interestingly, there was a lot of parallels between this story, and it's going to sound weird. Remember the movie How to Train Your Dragon? There was a lot of parallels. A lot of parallels in terms of plot, in terms of story writing. We'll talk Violet, the general's daughter, Hiccup, the chief's son. They're both scrawny, both disappointments to their parents. They both want to go to dragon training, even though it makes zero sense. You're going to die, you're frail, you can't lift anything, you can't do anything.
That's the second film. Was that the first?
No, that was the first film. Remember? When we went to go to dragon training. And it was just, when I was reading through the story, I just saw so many parallels to so many different franchises. And it's like, he just borrowed clips and bits.
Never noticed that.
You'll see more, don't worry. You'll see more.
It says, the main character, it said she's either pale or sunburned. And I thought, they have magic at their disposal. Do you mean to tell me that they're incapable of protecting themselves against the sun? You mean to say that these riders of these fire-breathing beasts that wield magic are incapable of defending themselves against the sun? Which I thought was...
We can defend ourselves from the sun.
So I think that's just me being my overthinking self. But, you know...
It's not overthinking. I just think it's being analytical in the sense that you didn't need to put that in there. The writer did not need to be like sunburnt or pale or anything like that. You could describe characters without... She didn't need to do it. And it's just a thing where...
No, but it's not that she didn't need to do it. It's just that because they have magic, it didn't make sense how they become... How do you get burnt by the sun when you've got magic? I mean, when you have magic, the first thing you do is improve the quality of your life, surely. I mean,
that's what I would do.
I mean, they did. And this is another thing about this whole world, sorry to sky you, but I mean, there was no mention of electricity. I mean, the whole... world was it was just blank. It was empty. They didn't paint a picture. This is what I don't like about fantasy, and I probably should wait until I find what I'm talking about because I've got so much.
I've got a point next that is literally very similar.
But it's like the fantasy don't make sense. You got magic, but you're just it's like prehistoric times sort of thing. You've got nothing, you know. But yeah, we'll get to that.
To be fair, it's a similar thing. Like in Harry Potter, they kind of explained it away when it was like magic interferes with electricity or vice versa. So they kind of did explain it away. Most fantasies, you don't get the explanation. But what I said was the way this is written very G.R.R.M. obviously George R.R. Martin, Tolkien-esque, where you get dropped into a fantasy land, you get bombarded with fantasy nouns, but you have zero clue where.
Isn't that the same for like Percy Jackson and all fantasy films?
It's not for Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson, he lives in Long Island, or he lives in Manhattan, or whatever, and he goes to school in New York. And it's like he goes to a camp that's in Long Island or whatever. In this, you like in Game of Thrones, you get dropped into Westeros. You don't know where north is, south is, whatever. You get bombarded with all these fantasy nouns. I like it though. Strangely, I like it because it saves expositional dialogue. You know when they try and explain things in a way that keeps the plot flowing, and you seem like they're not trying to explain it.
Then they just name drop Wyvern and all of this stuff.
Just what I'm saying.
What are you talking about?
Literally, it's ridiculous.
I put chapter 4. I'm increasingly surprised at the fact that the main character, Violet's mother, is forcing her to take part in this selection process, knowing that multiple people want to kill her daughter because she executed their parents. So it's like, to me, my mind's just blown. I'm thinking, what type of... Either she's a machine, or she's just... At that point, it seemed like she was trying to get rid of her daughter. Genuinely, that's what it seemed like to me.
To me, it seemed like the general was literally like, if you can't survive, you're not my daughter anyways.
I don't want you anyway.
We're writers. That's what we do. That's what we do. She said, if you can't survive, you don't deserve to live. And the funny thing is, I agree with you. Whoever's idea that was to put them children into the thing after she executed their parents needs to get fired immediately. That was never going to end well in any way, shape or form. Worst case scenario, they're just going to die, which you could just done that anyway. Best case scenario, they're going to become flipping dragon riders, cause a whole problem to the. It was just not a good idea.
I don't know. I don't have a problem with the idea. I don't have a problem with the idea. I would argue it's a good idea because it does show their loyalty in a way. I mean, they have to earn their right to be in that place, and also it's not their fault that their parents,
It's not. But here's the funny thing: they're always gonna be like, first of all, you execute my parents, you conscripted me into this death school. They're never gonna be like, they're never gonna be on the general side. They might be like earn their way into. They're not gonna be the general who's gonna be.
Okay, cool. But also, do you know what it does? It produces a better quality of talent of the survivors. The more people you have, the better quality. The people who make it, they made it out of, instead of making it out of 100, they made it out of 200, 300, 400. So you're going to get some on the traitor side that make it through, but you're also going to get some on the good people's side, and they're going to be better soldiers, and that's what they need.
For anyone who hasn't actually read the book yet,
there is no one who's watching this who's going through it who hasn't read the book. It'd be ridiculous. It would be ridiculous.
Sometimes people watch the reviews before they read the book.
This is spoilers. This is, and do you know what? It's spoilers, but it's sort of, if you were to watch this without reading the book, you're gonna hear spoilers and not know what we're talking about anyway. So there is no one. I don't think we need to address. We don't need to address people who haven't read the book. This is for people who have read the book. But you can still say what you want to say, but I just want to make that clear.
What I was gonna say was basically just the situation that we was talking about is there was a rebellion. The general, who was the main character's mum, that crushed the rebellion and sent all the separatists, is what they call them, their children, into this war college, conscripted them into this war college, into service. Which is, like I said, that's a messed up idea. You should get fired if that's your idea.
I've put Violet has brittle bones. Can magic not fix that? Instead of repairing her bones every time it breaks, can they not just magic her better? Give her some vitamin C or whatever it is.
Literally.
I've put chapter 5. The book is getting philosophical, and I think Violet is part of the good guys, and the people with the relics are the bad guys. But our moral compass gets adjusted when Violet spies on the gathering while she's in the tree. She starts to realise maybe I'm not part of the good guys, which is interesting and philosophical, obviously, because she's been brainwashed and programmed from birth to think that the traitors are traitors. And this is part of the book. I lost focus because I was working, and I don't know what happened. How did she get into the tree? Because I started paying attention when she was in the tree, and I was like,
when you realised people was pulling up.
Yeah. What was she doing in the first place?
She was getting the berries or whatever. Remember, for them poisons.
Oh,
for the fighting class.
Okay, so she was going to.
Which is actually, ironically, my next point is I thought it was interesting that Violet somehow clicked. And it makes sense and doesn't at the same time. Somehow clicked. I cannot survive here as a rider would. I have to survive here as a scribe would. I have to be smarter than them. I have to know more than they know. I have to basically, there's a book called The Art of War by Sun Tzu, who's a Chinese philosopher. He said, the victorious win first and then go to battle, which is essentially.
I think I've read that book.
Have you? I would be surprised, you read a lot, but yeah.
I think I've read that book.
That's what he said.
And he talks about many different ways in the histories and generals and stuff like that.
Literally, he said, victorious, win first, then go to battle.
I've definitely read that book actually, and there was this is a bit off topic, but he said basically in the book, you don't have to win the war, you have to just make the enemy their cost to win the war not worth it.
Literally,
so sometimes they got to chase you. They got to chase you, and it's costing them too much. They're losing too many soldiers, so they just give up.
But de-incentivize it. De-incentivize it.
Yeah.
But yeah, she decides to survive as a scribe, which I think was interesting. But yeah,
I thought that was terrible. I thought that was, and as I was reading it, I was thinking this girl is useless.
I didn't think it was a good idea. I didn't think it was a good idea in the grand scheme of things. Because remember what my man said. She said, once you can't poison somebody at their breakfast, it's done. It's literally done. And it happened. She got pulled up on when it was like, yeah, we've got to switch.
And I put the problem with these types of stories, and when I say these types of stories, I mean any story in the history of the universe that's not Game of Thrones is that we know the main characters either going to survive or they're going to die just before the end.
Literally.
So as she's going through these games, it says, 20 more names are added to the list. It becomes meaningless, you know. So there's no suspense. We know she's not going to die, pretty much.
I
thought that
a huge problem I had with the story is that main character, nobody we care about experienced any kind of loss whatsoever, like nothing. For example,
Liam, and even
him. But it's a kind of thing. You see the bridge part. You see the bridge part. The parapet. I don't know how to say it, but. When Dylan slipped, I was like, I knew somebody was going to die on that. I knew somebody we didn't care about was going to die on that just because they promised us. Devastating.
But there was a bit of seriousness when he did die, though.
Yeah, no, it was.
It was damn, you know.
Like, bro, this is serious. Remember, he was talking, from he started talking about going back to my fiance, I was like, yeah, nah, you're marked. You're marked, bro. It's like, bro, remember in Grey Worm, we're talking about, we're going to go back to North in Game of Thrones, remember? Before the Battle of Winterfell, Grey Worm was like, I'll take you back to North. And I was like, bro, she's going today.
You knew something.
She's out today. You like you're going nowhere.
You ain't going nowhere.
Not going nowhere. Man said make Trivago, you know. They made Hotel Trivago plans.
Oh no. So basically, my notes. I should have gone through my notes and fixed all the errors. No. Just fixed the errors because I've done while I'm driving. You know, I do talk to text.
Okay, so it's not accurate.
So I'll have to try and translate what I was trying to say. Because it says, look at this. Yeah, it's just, I'm going to have to try and guess what I said. But basically, I think I said it's interesting how Violet, as soon as she sees this guy, Zayden. She sees him and she knows she's not supposed to talk to him. He wants to kill her and she immediately finds him attractive, which is so stupid. And it's I don't know how I want to say that it's not realistic, but it kind of shows how toxic and crazy women are because you know this is the thing about fantasy. The writer wants to write something that's stimulating to readers, and she wants to capture the male and the female's intention, and women like the idea of being attracted to this toxic, violent, aggressive man, and then they've got Dane on the other hand who's the perfect for her, and she's like, I don't really want him, you know, maybe there was something, but it's like, let me just finish. They said they'll complain when the toxic man is toxic in the long run. Yeah, I think I've butchered this, but basically I've just put it's disgusting how much she doesn't deserve this best friend of her. He's lining up a way for her out of the games, and all she can think of is being inside the game so that she can wrestle with the toxic man.
Literally.
It's crazy.
Very interesting. I even thought, even to add to your point, if I go on to my point, to add to your point, I read some reviews about the book as well, and somebody was like, you know, straight away, like, Dane, like, as soon as, like, Zayden was into the picture, they was like, yeah, I just want her to end up with Zayden, of course, like, definitely cannot be with them. And I was just like, it just goes to show, like I said, if women did not like toxic men, there would not be so many toxic men with so many women. It's just not possible. The numbers do not add up. It's just crazy. Like, Zayden, again, I had a huge problem with Zayden just because I was just like, it's just like, stereotypical fantasy names, ridiculous fantasy names. Zayden, are you okay with an X? It's with an X.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous fantasy name to give somebody. Like, come on, I bet he's light skinned as well. It's like Jaden, but fantasy.
Yeah, I've got problems with Ada, but I've got more problems with Violet more than anybody. I hate Violet.
Violet was a terrible main character. Yeah,
I've put it's weird how the death of Violet's friend has affected her. People die in this process. Why get attached? I don't even know who I was talking about. It's probably in the beginning.
Probably Dylan.
What he befriended Dylan. She befriended Dylan.
I mean, they had a little on the way up in it. Maybe it was talking about someone else.
Yeah, but it's someone in the beginning. And I've put, I don't know if I butchered this. The fantasy, for fantasy civilizations, is the notion of believing in one god so unnatural that even a civilization who ride dragons and have magical superpowers still cannot believe for a second on monotheism.
Well, it's like they have to have an incentive to believe in monotheism. Why would they?
But why is it that it's an automatic for fantasy civilizations? Automatically multiple gods.
Because we don't have multiple gods in this day and age. Not really. Only in like these places where the internet don't reach you. But
why is the writers immediately the default is multiple gods.
Because they want it to be different from this society.
So that's their only motivation.
That's the only one I can think of. That's the primary one I can think of. They want it to not reflect our society, because what do you read it for? You read it for an escape. You don't want to be like living in your own world. Well, you want to live in this world. See what I'm saying? Which is the whole reason for the whole prehistoric things. No electricity, no this, quill pens. You know,
yeah,
like
the quill pens, even the quill pens.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I
was like, quills, really, you might have powers.
Come on. You might have powers. One of the reasons I don't like fantasy is because of the whole category. These beings aren't more advanced. They are more advanced, but their society isn't. There's no mention of technology. I mean, the F-22 Raptor's far more dangerous than the Dragon. Far more. But they don't have any of this technology.
Far harder to take out acid as well.
Yeah, these mythical beasts are nonsensical. This is me being over the top.
Yeah.
These mythical beasts are nonsensical. They lack evolutionary common sense. A dragon with a club tail. Apex predators don't evolve to get bigger and more dangerous. They evolve to get smaller, because as they get bigger and more powerful, they eat all the food and they kill everything and they die out. So they evolve to get... This is why we don't have saber-toothed tigers, because saber-toothed tigers are much bigger than the actual, lions that we have. But when times get hard, there's no food and they die out. When you're a smaller being, you need less food. But this is me being, the overthinker and whatever.
Well,
I said, no.
That is overthinking.
It is, and I said, and especially because the apex predators, they don't seem to fight each other. They all seem to have a society. They're gonna run out of food real quick. This is how nature balances things out. These big animals, they fight and they kill each other, and that makes more food.
I also don't actually think it makes any sense in any way, shape, or form for dragons and humans to be allied in any way, shape, or form. It makes no sense. Literally, they are prey, we are dinner. It's that simple. You can't be friends with a tiger.
The only reason why it made sense, which came up in the end, I think, it's not the wyvern. Wyvern are the other dragons. What's the other one?
Yeah.
The magic wielding.
What, the Verlin?
Is it Verlin?
Verlin.
Dragons can't kill those.
Yeah.
Unless they were to manufacture their claws to these special blades that can kill them. That's the only reason. And after that,
and nobody even knew. Nobody mentioned anything about that.
To the end. The partnership made no sense apart as in. That's the only reason. Because dragons don't need humans.
It could be. So the reason it could be. My next point is, interestingly, the meeting outside the tree is when I began to sympathise with Zayden, as you said, literally. Yeah. Because when they clocked, I was like, he's actually not even doing anything wrong, he's looking out for his people. Literally looking out for his people. These guys were conscripted here, they did not have a choice, they were forced into here. Where they were
he was giving them tough love as well.
And he was giving tough love. Remember when that guy was like, oh, I want to run away? He was like, you're going to die.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, king shit, 100%.
Yeah, no, he's not playing that.
And then they was like, why would you tell him that? He was like, because he is.
Yeah,
bro, if you can't be bothered to survive for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. What do you think?
100%. That's when I literally said, stand up.
I said, why do you think you're here?
What do you think you're coming here for? Nah, Zayden's definitely... He's a better main character than Violet, and he wasn't even in he's more interested...
I like him. He's a bit too dimensional. But we'll get into that.
Because he was there, you know what he was there for. His primary purpose in the thing was a dark allure for Violet to stay in the college, basically.
I'm invested... Chapter 13. I'm invested in the book, but I'm finding it so cringeworthy. The dragon introduces himself as a son of... And it's like, what? Where's the creativity? Like, what? Are they following humans the way we introduce our, or the way we did things back? Do they not have their own way?
Ridiculous.
There was no creativity. Son of this one, and it was just like
ridiculous. My next point is a bit. You probably won't even remember it. You probably just glossed over it. But I don't know if you remember Rhiannon and Tara. When Violet was walking with Dane and it was like past curfew or whatever, and they ran into Rhiannon and Tara, who had apparently been fooling about whatever, and like a little fling going, rolling around
and Dane
with each other. No, Rhiannon and Tara. You know Rhiannon, the friend?
Yeah, no, I know Rhiannon, but I don't really remember Tara.
She wasn't really an important character, so I said you probably didn't think about it, and then it was like Rhiannon was out of bed, and Violet was like, well, somebody's getting orgasms or whatever. She said something like that.
You know what?
And it turns out she's fooling around with a girl. Yeah. I thought it was interesting. I don't know if you've heard of a term called queerbaiting in movies. Queerbaiting is basically when you tease LGBT relationship and then never actually reveal it to bring in.
Is that what happened?
But that's not what happened. It's very similar to what happened. But what they did was it was basically like Pimp My Ride, where they just used it as like a little. The relationships have no purpose to the story. They just put lesbians in there to just kind of
spice it up.
Do you know what I mean?
One thing I didn't see again. I lost focus, but towards the end, when Xaden says, "Oh, I was jealous when Violet kissed this other boy," I don't remember that. When did that happen?
I vaguely remember. I vaguely remember.
Kissed. Well, someone kissed her. No,
Dane.
I think he said at Thrashers or something like that. No, I don't think it was Dane. I don't know. I thought you remember, but maybe you don't.
Oh, I don't remember that. I remember one.
I put in caps. Of course, she gets the biggest dragon. Of course, she doesn't want to kill an unconscious man. Of course, she wants to put her life on the line to save some silly little dragon. It was just
of course, literally, it makes no sense.
She does.
I'm gonna fast forward because this point is so important to what you just said. I literally said, well, first of all, before I say that, when you said cringe, I said Violet become unbearably cringe. When describing Xaden, she becomes unbearably cringe. I said, you are 20, not 12. Control yourself. Control yourself. Put it back in your pants for 2 seconds. Talking about, does he have to smell so good? Jesus Christ. Yeah. Okay. I said, what else?
This is what I say to you about the writer. She wants to captive. I imagine. She's writing this book for male and female.
Yeah.
So she puts the violence in there. I mean, maybe I'm being a stereotypical, asshole, but it's assuming that men want violence and women want romance. But no man wants to hear about he smells so good and rub up on his this, that, and the other. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But I put these writers are supposed to be ruthless. They're supposed to be warriors. She doesn't fit the bill. She isn't ruthless. She isn't deadly. She can't fight. She can only throw daggers.
She can throw daggers randomly as well.
And I put of course the dragons have sarcastic humour. Of course they do.
It's ridiculous. They humanise dragons far too much. I was like, these supposed to be mysterious beasts that do not talk. Why are they talking?
I would like to find the exact part, but I don't want to lose where I am. But I put that I think the writer missed an opportunity to add a philosophical angle into the book with the dragons, because dragons have lived for hundreds of years, and they could have been the wise. They could have said, "Boy, look, I've seen this. I've been around humans." They could have dropped some knowledge, some wisdom into it. And she just missed the trick. The dragons, all they do is bust jokes.
I also think that what you said about, of course, like it's the biggest and best dragon, I said, first of all, the writer conveniently forgot that dragons are supposed to incinerate weaklings. Violet is a weakling. She's weak in every way, shape, or form.
Well, the writer wrote it in.
Bear in mind, you could say, oh yeah, she found some form of emotional strength during her journey, yada yada. There was people the year before that were physically, mentally, just better than Violet that did not get to bond with dragons. Remember Sawyer that had to repeat the year.
Well, this is, as I said, not as I said, but the writer got around that by saying when Violet just bonded with Ten or whatever his name is, the dragon, big bad boy dragon, and she basically said, but I don't deserve you, I'm weak, and the dragon basically said, oh, no one can question me. Us dragons, we choose the riders, and I don't need humans to tell me why I should pick this one and that one or whatever. So basically he's trying to say humans have no idea why we choose, who we choose and whatnot.
I'm pretty sure over centuries that they became so sure, they were so certain when they said it, like dragons incinerate the weaklings. Remember when that guy ran from the college, and was it Xaden's dragon literally just said, boom, take my man out. And so I said, she's got a bit of a Mary Sue quality about her, Violet, a huge Mary Sue quality about her. I don't know if you know what Mary Sue means. Basically, when you introduce typically a female character, there is a male version of this as well. Typically, when you introduce a female character into the story, they're underprepared, undertrained, underqualified, and basically beat every single bitch out there just with ease, just without. At no point in the story was she in any danger whatsoever. There was a moment where Jack tried to kill her on the thing, and then there was one where Imogen broke her arm. Outside of that, I was like, bro, she seems like she's beasting.
No, didn't Imogen stab her?
No, that was
the first. It wasn't. It
was Amber. Was it Amber when they tried to kill her and the thing? But this is what I'm saying. I said, so first of all,
no. Her first sparring thing. Someone sliced her, and they said no weapons.
Like a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So yeah, I thought she had a huge Mary Sue quality about her because I'm like, first of all, her mum is a decorated general. Her sister is a revered lieutenant. Her brother is a war hero.
So is it, what
her main squeeze is the biggest, baddest guy at the college, and she got the biggest and best dragon, and she breaks history by getting 2.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. Yeah. And guess what? She can stop time.
Yeah,
so
I know.
What are we doing here?
When I saw that one, I was just like...
So I said, how am I meant to believe she's in any danger whatsoever? I was just like, if anyone tries to take her on, she's got 2 dragons.
Why didn't she stop trying time to save Liam?
Oh,
ridiculous. She's an asshole.
Ridiculous.
My man's put his life down and saved her multiple times. Not saying bodyguarded her anyway, but come on.
Do you know what it was? It's because somebody had to die to give the story like an emotional component, and the writer didn't want to kill off Violet. She didn't want to kill Zayda. She didn't want to kill Dane.
Yeah. I mean, she could have killed off Dane.
That's why I think Dane should have died.
Yeah, but I think Dane should have died. No, I think. All right, we'll get to that anyway. We'll get to that. Oh yes, I put one interesting fact is that her mother knew her full potential. She knew what she was capable of, even though Violet didn't. Unless, of course, she's actually just trying to send her daughter to her death. Because it seemed, as I said in the beginning, it seemed like the mother must have wanted to get rid of the daughter. But if she didn't, she obviously knew that her daughter could get through it somehow. She knew what her daughter was capable of. But
I think that would be nice if she knew that.
I don't think moving forward. I mean, even afterwards when she passes the first year or whatnot, right? Her mother never at no point comes up to her and says, "Oh, well done." Da, da, da. She speaks about her to people and says, "Oh yeah, she's got dragons." Da, da, da. But there is no love there. I thought so that it's mad. I put. Sorry, I'll let you go. But I put. Oh yeah, I guess that Violet was going to get 2 dragons. I assumed the black and the gold came together. I didn't know it was going to be an official case of her officially bonding 2 dragons. I thought it was Tana and Ndana. I thought they were not bonded, but I thought they just. And Donna just followed Tana around, so it just would have been. Yeah, that's why.
Interestingly, that's actually impressive because I did not think she was going to bond 2 dragons. But as soon as they brought up the Morningstar tale in the class, I was like, she's going to get that one. As soon as my mum was like, "Don't worry, none of you are going to be able to bond with a black dragon." Only was it General Melgren has it. I was like, she's getting it. Of course she's getting it. She's got everything else at this point. So like, why would this be any? She's gonna get it. She's gonna get it, the biggest and baddest dragon at the whole thing. And then Jill's like, yes, she had lightning powers, time-stopping powers, 2 dragons. What more that? So where do we go in the second book? What danger can they possibly throw at her?
Yeah, there is a second book in which we're gonna have to.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I also think before you carry on, I also put it is laughably ludicrous that people still keep coming after Violet when it has led to disastrous consequences for everybody throughout the entire book. Everybody who's come to her has either been maimed or killed.
No, Jack was fine up until
he died. And he was what was the point of his character? He didn't do anything the whole book.
Well,
and then died.
I didn't see him as a bad guy actually. He personally, he's a son of a traitor, so he should hate Violet. Well, not should, but it's understandable.
It's understandable why.
And he tried to kill her when he was allowed to. So he wasn't specifically a bad guy.
He wasn't defined bad guy. I just think he was an antagonist. I don't use the term bad guy. He just antagonized the main character just because.
Yeah, but I think he was painted out to be a bad guy. We like Violet and we hate Jack.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't necessarily hate him. I mean, I did because I'm the reader.
I said Violet should so obviously have killed him on the paraphrase. So obviously.
Yeah, but you know she can't kill anyone because she's a good girl.
Doesn't matter. Bro, I don't care. No, I don't care. She's so clear. This is not about being a good girl. It's about self-preservation here. This guy said, "I will kill you."
Yeah, but
I'm going.
It wasn't the only.
He said, "We're here for 3 years. I'm gonna get you."
He wasn't the only. He wasn't the only person to say that. To be fair,
the one less. One less. Your enemies are multiplied. You're gonna let them.
And I put. Dragons obviously think they are superior to humans. If that's true, then why is it that a bond that is broken can kill both participants? If they're superior, why is it that a human death affects them?
That's true, but it doesn't always affect them though. Remember when it was like...
Yeah, it doesn't always, because Tanner's one... Sorry?
Yeah, exactly.
Tanner's one before
he survived.
Yeah.
He was good.
Yeah, I guess. I put another overthinking one on. I put... There's evolutionary and biological issues. Violet looks through the eyes of her own dragon to see her own back. And I said, and apparently a dragon's eyesight is exactly the same as humans. The chances of that happening are nil. For example, dragons fly at high speeds, and Violet said she needed goggles. Dragons don't need goggles. Yeah, so I assume also that they're nocturnal animals, or at least can see very well at night time. So the point I'm trying to make is there was a lack of detail and creativity because she could see through the dragon's eyes as if they were humanized. And they came to my mind, so I put it down.
That is an interesting point, because at the end of the day, when you said that, I was thinking, yes, it is a bit of a stretch, but you can't know it's nil. But then when you said that, I was like, yeah, that actually does prove actually.
I mean, and that's just me writing. As I said, I'm driving while I could come up with like actual, I mean, for example, when dragons are fire-breathing animals, and Violet's not even near the fire sometimes, and their face burns and their cheek burns, and that's coming from their mouth. So their eyes have to be completely
protected somehow.
Yeah, they have to be completely different.
I guess they're just gonna be like, magic.
Yeah, that's a good answer. It's a good answer.
It's a good answer that you can never lose magic. That's what you get with fantasy. That's what fantasy gives you. Anything magic.
Yeah. And I've got this point. This might get us cancelled.
Demonetized.
This might get us cancelled. This is a bit of a paragraph. I said, I think something dangerous is being perpetuated in romance novels, films, stories, and in fact all types of literature. There's a part where Violet's best friend finally kisses her. And up until that point, she's attracted to him, she likes him, and as soon as they kiss, she realizes she doesn't want him. I felt nothing. And I said, if you're wrong about wanting someone, what makes you so sure that you're right about not wanting them? In other words, if you were wrong before, especially when you were so sure that you was right, what makes you think you're right now? You're relying on the same feelings that you used, which misled you before.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
bearing in mind, she loves the guys that want to kill her. Bearing in mind, so her judgment's already not the best.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, So, and I think this is why Nazis burn books, right? Because in all the TV shows and all the movies that we watch since we were born, from the Disney films to the Snow Whites to the fairy tales, they teach us that this feeling that we have is right and something that we need to listen to. She complains that when she kissed her best friend, nothing was there. I want to explain the significance of why I think that's dangerous. Let's say, for example, she kissed him and there was something there, and they get into a relationship, 2 years down the line, they have a kid, and then one day when they kiss, she deems that nothing's there anymore. What's going to happen? I'll tell you what happens. She leaves. And this is what happens on a daily basis in society. It's the reason why children grow up fatherless, which is terrible for society. Marriage and relationships are weaker than ever, which doesn't make any sense, because males and females have been pairing up from the beginning of time. So you think nowadays, we have some form of idea what we're doing. You think we'd be good at it? Yeah. So the point I'm trying to make is, everybody in this day and age, we try and chase this feeling that we think, and at the end of the day, it's lust. And in this book, they keep talking about, Violet's in love with Xaden, and it's just this raw, disgusting lust. That's what it is. Literally. And it's what's perpetuated in all romance films, and they think that's love.
Well enough to love him. She does not know well enough. Like, bro, she thought he was a villain. Turns out he wasn't that bad. Turns out, bro, you don't know who.
Turns out he's not that bad. Turns out he lied to her from the beginning. Turns out.
Do you understand? You don't know anything about him. You know his first name and his surname, and that's it. And that he goes to that college. That's it. And that he smells good. That's all she knows about him. But that's what I said. I also think that Dane's telepathy was severely underused. Telepathy is one of the strongest powers.
That one there, that one got me. That one was good because that one got me. I had to commend the writer for that one. I was like, yeah. But also, how much has he used it before then?
Not only that, but the fact that it played such a pivotal part in the end means that you could have used it.
He's been using it. But if he had, he would have destroyed the plot, because he would have found out about everything much sooner.
He would have found that plot. It needs to be a better plot. You can't have him in telepathy, just not use it because the plot doesn't need it. Like, it's ridiculous. So why has he got telepathy then? Just don't give him telepathy. Give him like a nerfed form of telepathy where it's like empathy, where you can feel feelings but not see thoughts. Do you know how powerful seeing people's thoughts is? It was very underused. And with powers like this, it makes you wonder why there are such things as problems in this kingdom that we have here.
You think he wants to get out?
Probably.
That's cat.
Bro, he's been silent for so long.
I know.
He's not really active.
Sorry.
Yeah,
it's funny how the main reason she doesn't fully trust her best friend is because of his unwillingness to break the rules for her. These times when he did break the rules by kissing her, she regrets it. It's one of the things she regrets. And it's like, women are complicated.
You know what it is? You know what it is? It all goes back to what you said. She doesn't want him. She's always going to find problems with things that he does. This is why I said it made perfect sense to me that she preferred Zayden to Dane, because Dane was very, very cautious. He was like, go to the scribes, be safe, take care of yourself, don't take risks, don't talk to this person, don't talk to that person. He's very controlling. Zayden wanted her to try her strength, he wanted to take risks. He made her feel dangerous, which is probably why she ended up liking him. Excited. Literally. Dane was like, you can be excited. You want excitement? Go to the movies. Zayden, made her feel dangerous. Whereas Dane just made her feel, he was trying to just keep her alive.
Yeah, but I don't even know, mate, because she liked him before anything.
What, Zayden?
Yeah, so...
Well, look, that's being attractive must have helped somewhere.
Well, of course it does, but this is what I'm saying. At the end, we find out why Zayden likes Violet, and it makes sense. It's actually logical, you know, but there is no reason for Violet to be liking Zayden apart from lust and attraction. There's nothing there. He was not a nice guy. He was, but he didn't show that he's a nice guy in the beginning. He just seemed this dark, evil character. That I'm pretty sure he was the one that said that he wanted to kill her as well, right? He said Soren Girl's mine. No, he said Soren Girl's mine.
He said, I'll handle her.
Yeah. So you know, there's no. It was just.
Actually, heard him say that.
Yeah,
exactly. Intrigued, bro, when he said that.
I put in chapter 16. You look like you want to read something.
No.
In chapter 16, Violet's enemy Zayden acts on making sure. He acts on making sure she stays alive, because if she dies, so does he. Right. So this is Zayden. I put this adaptation to the story would have been much better if he had actively been trying to kill her from the beginning. I would have classed it as a genius transformation. So if he had actually tried to kill her a few times beforehand, and then now all of a sudden he's got to protect her, because, you know, I would have said, yeah, that's fantastic. But he hadn't even tried to kill her. He never done anything.
So that one with the tree, I was
the point I'm trying to make is the writer missed an opportunity to do something, and you know.
Yeah, no, I think what would have made the story stronger is if at the end in the final battle, rather than like the role Dane actually played in the final battle, I thought it would have made Zayden and Violet's love story so much more compelling, to me anyways, if Dane had actually sacrificed himself in the battle to save Zayden. That would have made perfect sense to me, because that would have been...
Violet saved us.
No, if Dane sacrificed himself to save Zayden in the final battle, that would have made perfect sense to me.
Why would
that made perfect sense to me? Because not only is he... There's a love triangle. We've got a love triangle here. We've got Violet, Dane, Zayden. That's what we've got. Yeah. So they like each other. They're best friends or whatever, but they have to overcome that best friend barrier, because they've been calling each other best friend for since they were 5 or 6, basically. Yeah. So they got to overcome that. Now Dane has an issue with Zayden, because obviously Zayden's the new love interest, and he thinks he wants to shoot.
Why would Dane kill himself?
Because that would then not kill himself. I mean, sacrifice himself to save him in like the final battle. Or
that's killing himself. But why would he do that to save Zayden?
If Zayden was in danger, because that would then be a proclamation of how much he actually does love Violet to give her the person that she wants. That would make perfect sense to me.
Yeah, that would be super deep.
That would be very deep. And it would also be his blessing for them to be together.
It'd be simpish.
It would be simpish, but that's what women love the guy that loves them to simp for me to have the guy that I actually want.
That would be horrible. But I put dragons could have been wise words of wisdom. They could have been philosophical creatures since they lived so long. I said that already. And I also put, this is overthinking time. I wonder what their views are on space travel and the universe. I wonder what their views are on veganism or eating dragon meat. They eat turkey, which isn't far removed from chicken, which isn't far removed from dinosaurs, which are reptiles, that isn't far removed from birds, and which are similar to dragons. Literally. So it's what's going on here? What's right, what's wrong? Yeah. I didn't really... Yeah. But I've got a talking point here, apparently. What do you think of Violet's best friend, Dane's argument? Because, you know, throughout the book, I didn't really know names that... I couldn't... to me, for some reason, Dane and Zayden, it was two... I didn't know which was which, and it just took me a while
to... Do you know what it is? It's a quintessential fantasy, the stereotypical fantasy names where you're literally just like... Fantasy writers, what they do is they say, whatever my characters are going to be called, this will not be a real name in real life. Now, Violet is one of the only ones. Violet and Rihanna are like the only ones. Mira, you don't really see people called that.
No, of course not.
Things like that. Brennan, you don't really see people called that. So a lot of the fantasy names are just like, let's make this as unrealistic as possible, just to immerse you within the magical kingdom that we want you to be immersed in. But yeah, carry on.
I said, what do you think of Dane's argument that they had in chapter 17? It says, we'll see if she misses him. I'm never having faith in her. She's I don't even know what I'm talking about. She specifically says that the reason why we will never be more than friends, just friends, is because you don't have any faith in me. She said, I bonded 2 dragons and you still don't think I have what it takes. On the other hand, I think he's just worried about her safety.
But that's exactly
who's not thinking straight in this scenario.
That's exactly what I said. I don't necessarily think either one of them are thinking straight. It's difficult to think straight when people you love are involved, and especially their life and their safety.
No, she proper bats him up. Oh, you don't have faith in me.
Do you know what it is? Is she shouldn't bat him up because he was the only one interested with keeping her actually safe when her mother didn't even want to keep her safe. Yeah. He was the only one that was actually like, I'm going to try and keep you safe. Put her under his squad as well, which is exactly what Mira said to do. He's the only one looked to keep her safe, so she definitely shouldn't have batted him up. But I understand what she's saying when she says he doesn't have any faith in her, because like the whole
even when she was like winning fights, faith in him. She has never done a single thing to prove herself in any realm of the universe. I mean, all she's done is poison people. That's it. She cannot do anything.
But that's the funny thing. Zayden believed in her for whatever reason.
Zayden didn't believe in her. He had a bodyguard on the door.
Yeah,
he had a bodyguard on the door.
No, but to be fair, things got techie by then. That wasn't at first.
That wasn't at first. But he had people training her before then, so he didn't have to.
Well, they're all training there. But no, kind of was Zayden. Like I said,
extracurricular
Zayden made her feel dangerous. He was like, yeah, listen, what did he say? Dane was like, stay away from Jack, stay away from him, he's dangerous. Zayden was like, yeah, go after him, throw some daggers at his head. And it's just a wildly different approach in what they advised her to do, where she was like, because Zayden just makes me feel like a threat. People like to feel like a threat. I'm dangerous, don't fuck with me.
I think her best friend, Dane, isn't doing anything radical enough. He should have been the one to orchestrate the 7 cadets to attack her in her sleep, just to scare some sense into her.
Scare straight, literally.
Because, boy, you know...
That's what I'm saying. Ridiculous. That would have actually been a good idea. That would have been a chess move if they had done that. That would have been good. I put one... This is a huge problem I had. There was far too many obvious cliches like in a story. So, for example, we're just talking about plot and world build, not even like going into details. It's like some plain but gorgeous girl with 2 white dudes that are vying for her affections, and it's just like classic, just Twilight. It's just Twilight all over again. We've got inexperienced girl that goes up against better trained, more capable people and far outshines them improbably against ridiculous odds. Star Wars, Rey. It's just ridiculous. There's just too many cliches, and it's like, how am I ever meant to fear for Violet's life at any point in the story?
Yeah, no, as I said, I told you from the beginning, I mean, she's the main character anyway, so she has to...
Yeah, no, literally, ridiculous.
I put... What exactly would happen if she bonded with her dragon and fucked off? What if she decided she didn't want to do the 3 years? She got her dragon in the first year.
And this would be as bad as one as well.
What if she says, no, I don't really want to be a rider, but I'm bonded now, so yeah. I'm keeping my dragon. Now what?
They even said you can't even be too far from your dragons for too long as well, so physically, like...
Do you think they'll just kill her? Take her. I mean, they can't.
They could try. She's General's daughter. She's got lightning time stopping powers.
Yeah, but she hasn't had that. Yeah, exactly. And I put, of course, Violet has the power to stop time. Of course she does.
That's the ultimate ability anyone could ever want.
I put. It's interesting that being a mind reader is a death sentence. I just thought. And I thought it was interesting when Zayden was like, protect your thoughts. Yeah, no, think about something.
He's interesting, but I understand the reason for it. Like I said, mind reading is possibly the most dangerous ability. Like, X-Men.
Yeah,
who's the most powerful? Who's the most powerful in X-Men? Who's the most dangerous?
I get that. Maybe it's because once mind reading is intertwined with mind control.
It's up there. And it's the kind of thing where not only that, but it invades the only place you have that is truly ever private. It's your mind.
Well, I think my scenario of them being able to control people is...
Yeah, it's probably more primary.
It's probably maybe because other than that, I mean, having someone who can read mind can kill him straight away. I don't see that.
I don't understand how. I don't think they'll read minds, bro. I don't think I've seen that coming.
Yeah. I don't think that's just.
But to be fair, a lot of the powers were over. Like when it was like General Melbourne can see the outcome of a battle. I'm like, how do you ever lose? Like seriously, you should not be able to ever lose. If you can see the outcome of a battle, it's ridiculous.
I've got another thing that doesn't really make sense with Zane. She's bonded with Violet. He's bonded with Violet, or the dragons are bonded. I don't know which one it is, but dragons are bonded, right? So if she dies, then her dragon dies apparently, which wasn't the case beforehand anyway. Because Tanner survived his loss, bonding, which
Yeah,
was super. Oh, but apparently the bonds get stronger and stronger. So the last one nearly killed him. Alright, boy. So Zane's bonded with Violet, right? So if she dies, then so does he. So he spends a lot of time making sure that she stays alive, like assigning her a bodyguard. But he has no problem with her flying a dragon. In chapter 20, she admits that she nearly dropped off. Well, no, so she did drop off and nearly died from crashing into a mountain. So, you know, he spends all his time trying to protect her, but it's like, oh yeah, fly a dragon by yourself, no problem.
Literally. Run free. She said run free.
It should be Zane that's trying to convince Violet to join the scribes.
It should be Zayden.
It should be Zane. Yeah, I put Zane. I put Zane.
Yeah. Oh.
Because I didn't really...
Just made it a character.
Yeah, so Zayden. It should be Zayden that's trying to convince Violet to join the scribes because it's safer there. Because if she dies, then he goes.
He's actually the one that invested in her safety. Like, so physically invested. Yeah. They should both be... And I think
they should both be scribes.
Do you know what? Do they need to keep them both safe? That's actually a good point. But you know what's interesting? I think if he had... That should have been the thing that brought him and Dane together and actually made them friends or actually made them tolerate one another.
Because they both
have invested interest in keeping Violet safe. But that would make Violet more annoying to me because I'm just like, you got these people bending over backwards trying to keep you safe. All you want to do is die and go into danger immediately. It would have made her way more annoying if she was annoying enough. I really put a bit about Jack was the most useless character, murderous for nothing. Just murdered people we don't know the names of and don't care about and then died.
Yeah.
That is all he did.
Well, my thoughts are conflicting. Obviously, only a maniac, a monster, a psychopath wouldn't want the two main characters to get together. Right? I think it's natural for you to want Violet and Zayden to get together. I understand.
I don't particularly to be
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about the average reader. I feel like you even said in the review someone was happy when they got together.
Yeah. When I heard it wasn't just thank God.
Yeah. But I think the way that Zayden has transformed overnight from apparently disliking Violet to all of a sudden being attracted to her, it seems so unrealistic, and it's also a terrible idea to get into a relationship with her. But it seemed like he couldn't stand her or he disliked her or whatever. But all of a sudden, out of the blues, he seemed to find her attractive. And apparently, in the chapter end, he apparently always did find her attractive. But he's this super hot, super attractive guy. He's the quarterback. It makes no sense. They even said in the book that Nira got all the good assets and she was just this pale bones. Why did he like her?
Do you know what's
interesting at the end?
Do you know what's interesting about that is typically whenever it's romance, specifically whenever it's written by a woman. I know you said it's written, you wanted the right one to capture the male and female perspective, but I feel like it was very heavy female, 60-40, 70-30.
Well,
maybe.
I think the only thing that's male is the violence. If not for the violence,
literally.
then it would be this surprising one unicorns.
Exactly. And interesting thing is, we always see this. Remember, you brought up the point about Cinderella, Snow White, all these things that we watch as children. I remember I said this one time. I said to somebody, I was in a debate with somebody, and I said, in these stories, they program your mind, they train you as a woman to think of yourself and your happiness and don't worry about the man. Don't worry about what is. And I literally said, prove it. Cinderella, what is the prince's name? This is a prince. Why is he going after this woman that's scrubbing fucking floors? He can have any woman he wants. And somehow, for some reason, he's only got eyes for this peasant woman. Yeah. That teaches women you can get a prince when you're a peasant that scrubs floors. Yeah. And literally can't afford clothes. Makes zero sense. Don't even know his name. And then I asked somebody and they was like, oh, Prince Charming. I was like, that's Snow White. What is the prince? It's Cinderella's name. Nobody knows. Nobody cares.
Yeah. See, I've put also that, so it's made a magical bond. From what I understand, Violet isn't even that attractive. Someone said to us that her sister's got all the good traits and she got the leftovers. So it's much more likely that Zayden would be more attracted or would go for the hottest girl because he's a quarterback, as he said. And I don't know why I feel like. Yeah, but anyway, it says, do guys moan in real life? Or is that just what they do in sex scenes and TV? Because the way in the sex scenes, even before they had sex, and Violet would touch him and he'd groan and he'd moan and all of this, and I'm just like, is this what women want to hear?
Bro,
not in novels? Is this what they want to hear?
Remember what you was talking about though? Remember when you was even like, remember Tapman read that book and you was like, you was glad there was no sex scenes in it because it's just ridiculous. It just gets too much. It's just too much. Yeah, man. It's too much.
Yeah.
Too much. He palmed. Oh, man. Nah, allow that.
It was it was. You know, some of the scenes.
I literally put it here. I said, "Woman, you're 20. You're not 12. Control yourself. Relax." But that's what I'm not talking about. The sexism. I'm talking about. I fuck him. Why did he have to look so good? Oh, come on, man. Allow it.
This is another cancelled quote. I said, Zayden is really a good guy and he's a better man than me because he said no to Violet when she was emotionally intoxicated. I would have dealt with that. And isn't it misogynistic to assume that a fully grown woman is incapable of understanding what she wants? Because she said,
she's 20 years
she
old.
said, boy, you know, she wants it.
Yeah, he's stronger than me. He's stronger than me.
And then she said, and then I said, imagine Zayden tied it down for her to go take it all out on the bodyguard.
Bro,
I would
have got the jimmies out immediately, bro. I would have got the jimmies out immediately.
He was saying to her, no, you don't know what you're talking about. He's a misogynistic.
Literally, that's what I'm saying. He's treating her like a child. She knows what she wants. She has agency, you know.
She's a fully
bodily autonomy.
Fully grown woman.
She knows what she wants. She's a strong, independent woman. She knows what she wants. I would have gave it to her. Get the jimmies out.
So, I've also put in chapter 21, I'm confused as to why Violet has a problem with Dane. She's been a complete arsehole to him, I think. And now it's going to destroy him when he finds out she wants Zayden.
Like the guy he's been breaking his back to protect her from, basically. Yeah. And he's been breaking her back in a different way. Ridiculous. See, bro, focus on yourself, King. Dane needs to go gym. Dane just needs to go gym. Just forget about it.
Yeah, get them gains.
That's what I'm saying. Dane, get the gains and forget about. What's her name? Exactly.
I said, Violet says to Dane, keeping me safe is keeping me from growing. It's a powerful statement, but she's misused it for her own personal gain. That statement is true, but not in life or death situations. So, for example, for a child to grow competently, parents need to optimize the level of danger so that their child experiences. They need to allow as much danger as their child can competently handle without seriously hurting or killing themselves. So, for example, they need to let a child climb a wall or play in the playing ground, you know, or handle knives in the kitchen, which is subjecting them to danger under their watchful eye, so that they can become competent. You become competent when you master danger. So you know, he's keeping her safe isn't keeping her from growing. Keeping her safe is keeping her alive. You know, that's he's not.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? So she used that. Or the writer used that.
Interestingly, he wanted her to go, and he did want her to grow just at the scribe quadrant where she's been training her whole fucking life. It makes zero sense for her to just because my mum said this is what I have to do. Now I don't want my life's dream anymore. Doesn't make any sense. It was another thing where I was very, as we covered already, I was very disappointed with like the dragons just in general, just because I just wasn't impressed with them in any way, shape or form. The dragons, just the concept of dragons, the way they executed it.
You got to remember, she don't want the dragons to overpower everything.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like when I think dragons and humans, I just think I have a concept of what like the feelings I want the dragons to be able to give me, like the vibe that I want them to have, and like the way they was there, like you said, busting jokes, talking about we've got a dragon council. I was like, bro, what is this?
Yeah, it's a bit. Violet said something to Dane in the same conversation that I mentioned before, when it says keeping me safe is keeping me from growing. She said that he said rider school strips back everything. She said that once he stripped back her anger and fear, it revealed. She basically said he's right, and she said once the school stripped back her anger and fear, it revealed who she really was. She said, and she claimed to be a rider. She said, once they stripped, you were right, Dane. The school stripped back the anger and the fear to what I really am at my core. That's what she said, a rider. And I said, she is the most deluded main character I've ever had the misfortune of experiencing. She's failed nearly every task, and all the tasks she did surpass, she either cheated or lucked her way through. She nearly died multiple times. She falls off her dragon multiple times a day. She literally poisons people just so that she can beat them in sparring. She's a bloody disgrace.
Literally.
You can leave.
You can leave.
Apprentice, Solomon.
What do you think we're coming here? What do you think you're coming here for? You give me a picture of Selbert, so you give me. You can leave. Doors over there.
So if you guys don't know, go type in Apprentice, Solomon.
Nah, it was a peakest thing I've literally ever seen. It was the peakest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen somebody get built so high. Get torn down.
Yeah. What is his name?
Claude
And Sullivan. Time in. You got to go watch that.
It's a sad day when Claude left the apprentice.
You're coming here.
You're coming here for.
And once again, she lost another battle, and she cheated by using orange juice. Jack was allergic. Jack was allergic. Which again, such the most random thing for this guy to be allergic to was orange. What made her pick orange? That's hardly that's hardly like an out there allergy. If you were like a peanut allergy. Yeah, why didn't he just pick peanuts?
It was just the most random thing. Yeah, it's allergic to. I've never even heard of a single person
having said that, I'm allergic to apples.
Is it?
Yeah. I can drink apple juice, but
that's crazy.
If I eat apple...
When did you figure this out?
About a year and a half ago.
That is actually mad. You know, you're the only one that has an allergy out of the two of us now. Or I've one that I've never figured out. I don't have any allergies.
You used to be. You're lactose intolerant.
That's the funniest thing. I used to be, but then they must have changed the milk. They must have done
changed it back.
No, I'm saying they must have changed it from... Because we had a spout where we were lactose intolerant, and then it just, for some reason, they just... cleared up.
Because I'm kind of lactose intolerant. I don't drink.
Yeah, if you drink, do you know what lactose intolerance is like? People think something serious is gonna happen to you when it's nothing serious. If you drink milk, like you'll be farting up the house for like half an hour.
But you'll be alright.
You'll be alright.
You're not gonna just die.
You're fine. A bit. It's like gluten allergy.
I am also allergic to brookies, so move over. I put. In chapter 25, she admits that maybe she isn't in love with Zayden, as she actively tries to avoid him, whereas before she would have loved to be stationed with him, because I think they got stationed, because they won the trials, and they got stationed.
They went to that place.
So it's just like her lust factor, her lust feeling, you know, she listens to it like it's law when
it is very interesting what you say. Like nothing about this story has anything to do with love. Like he said, it's literally just lust. She doesn't know enough about him to have a single clue of who he is. And the end of the story proved that because he was literally keeping something from her the entire time.
And then she changed her mind and said, "Oh, maybe I don't love you."
And she was like, "I can't." Do you understand what I'm saying? She flipped back and forth like how many different times now. Dane was clear.
And I like the fact that there's no sex scene so far. I mean, even that kiss was unnecessary. I think when she got her powers and she got super lusty and she went and found him and kissed him. And I put, realistically though, it is much more likely that there would be an abundance of sex throughout the rider school, as they don't even know if they're going to live till tomorrow. So
yeah,
I mean, if
Mira even said that.
Yeah, if you were going to be realistic, you know, I mean, look at Game of Thrones.
Whereas
it's rampant.
You can't get through get through like 2 seasons.
Yeah, because I mean, realistically, there should be, and I'm glad there isn't, but should there be then? You know, should the right
in this specifically?
Well, I mean, in the film, in the book, should there be? Because realistically, there would be.
There would be, but you don't have to show all of it.
And you don't have to even talk about it.
And you don't even have to talk about it. You can have like maybe 1 or 2 scenes with it if necessary. But it's the kind of thing you should always be used to enhance the story. It shouldn't just be used just because it's there. Just because, yes, we're having
Game of Thrones.
That's what I'm saying.
That was not enhancing the story.
A lot of it did enhance the story, though. The important ones did, but it's like when it's TV, it's different because that when you're writing, you have to write it. You have to write the details.
There was the scene in Game of Thrones where a man had his dick out. You know, in the shame scene, shame. Yeah. There was a guy. He just took his dick out, and shook it at Cersei. For no
but that's
reason.
the thing. They was trying to show the degeneracy of King's Landing, so there was a point. It was
I think we can always make a point, but I mean, the scene would have been exactly the same if they had. And the funny thing is, I saw the casting for that. I saw the casting. No. I mean, I saw when Game of Thrones, the directors or whatever, the producers, they put up an ad to say that we need a male model.
We need a willy guy.
Yeah, and he's gonna. And I remember seeing, and this was before it came out, and I thought they paid $1,000. They paid $1,000.
Best job ever.
And I applied. I applied, but then I thought I'm probably gonna fall short. So let me.
I did it for free.
And I put Dane. I said, there's been so much mention of a conspiracy throughout the whole film, the whole book, but we are no closer to finding out what the conspiracy is. So it's like they keep just, toying with the idea, especially when Violet was in the tree and these lot were talking about this stuff.
The tree scene, I had a huge problem because in the tree scene, when it revealed it wasn't doing anything wrong, I was like, bro, we're like halfway done. Like the guy we fought was like, the whole conspiracy is nothing to do with it. It's like, where are they gonna go? They haven't got enough time to build anything meaningful.
Well, yeah, that's another point. 20, I think over halfway through the book, 3/4 of the way in, that's when the rest of it just got crammed in. We
Yeah,
spent
it
so
was
much time Violet getting through these pointless challenges that we don't really care about anyway.
Literally, it was like Spider-Man when Venom turned up.
But I don't know. I didn't feel like they needed to cram the rest in. I think she could have easily made the book longer. I mean, I was invested in the book. I would have finished it. You know, I mean, readers, we don't really care. I don't think I've ever read a book and thought, this is just too long, I can't bother to read.
Yeah, no, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. If you're enjoying it, you'll enjoy. You'll be good.
And also, you know, you like these characters now, so you're gonna
literally it'll be good.
But then again, you might get to a point where you think, oh, we still going.
But that's the thing. Like, what point are we talking about? Because it wasn't this.
Yeah, because
bro, we're talking about.
There could have been another 10 chapters.
There's some like Harry Potter books and like Game of Thrones books where like, bro, this is doorstop. Literally doorstop.
Yeah, we did have a book like that.
Ridiculous, bro.
It's like the Bible.
Bro, those books are longer than the Bible. The Bible's like that long compared to some of these.
Well, if you think about it, the Bible's small print, you know.
Oh yeah, it's
small. It's condensed. Yeah, thin pages. It's like paper, not paper thin. It's like one ply.
Literally, one ply.
All I'm saying is, I don't mean any. If this is disrespectful, one ply.
Yeah,
I don't know. All right, we'll move on. We'll move on.
My next one is. This is a bit of a silly point, but it just got on my nerves a little bit, just because I just feel like this is gonna tie into racism a little bit. But it's like, why are the ultimate dragons always black? So we've got Smaug from The Hobbit, we've got Balerion from Game of Thrones, we've got the Hungarian Horntail Merlin. I didn't think he was gonna bring that one up. Merlin, Kilgara from Merlin, the Hungarian Horntail.
That wasn't black, was it? That was.
Bro, he was black. Nah, he was black. Okay, he was black, fam. He's like.
I was thinking about that film while I was.
I said the Chinese fireball. No, bro, he's funny, but yeah, nah, bro, why they always black? I don't get it. And then now, what's his name? 10. I read it as 10 because I read it on paper. 10.
Well, I read it. Well, I listened to it and it kept Tanner. But I listen to audiobooks in times too, so that's why I missed the names.
Do you know what it is? When I was reading it, I was like, for this book specifically, audiobook is going to help you a lot more than reading a physical copy is going to help me, because some of these names, I was like, bro, how do you begin to pronounce this?
Oh, that happens a lot in books.
I've even seen your notes, you spelled Dane wrong so many times.
Yeah, because
it makes no sense for them to spell it like how they spelled it.
Yeah. We need to speed through this though, because it's been...
Yeah, literally.
40, I think it's 50 minutes in.
I've got 2 points.
Oh, you got 2 points? I've still got a lot of points.
Oh, is it? You
expanded
a lot on yours.
Yeah. I said, I think I hate Violet. Or maybe I just see her for what she truly is, a liability. She is incapable of thinking logically. In chapter 26, the Griffins are about to attack the outpost. Everybody under the sun is telling her to leave because she's incapable of fighting. She can't stand on a dragon. She can't wield her powers. Everyone can see that she shouldn't be there, and she's wasting their time arguing, begging, and pleading. She's emotionally immature. You know, you got to think, if she didn't have the most powerful dragon, she'd be useless. You know. And it's just ridiculous, you know. Why is she wasting everyone's time? She's completely useless. And then she's like, oh, I have to be there for my sister. Her sister is an accomplished rider. She's been doing this. While she was playing soldier in school, Nara, whatever her name is, Mira, she's been it for real. She's been doing that.
For real. And this is just why it's lazy. This is why I say it's lazy writing. Because when people write female characters, they make them overpowered for no reason. And they think it's, woman empowered. No, it's not. Well, if you write a proper female like Mira should actually just have been the main character. I would have rather her stories out there do whatever she was doing than all this foolishness. But before you go on to your next point, I've just got a small one here. I didn't like the structure, the infrastructure of the school. I was like, first of all, you can't have a magic school where the teachers are called professors. J.K. Rowling gets a royalty every time you use the word professor in a magic school. You can't do it.
Why?
Just accept.
So what should they be called then?
What are teachers anywhere called? Think of something. You're a writer, that's your job. It's your whole job. What are you even doing here? What do you think you're coming here for? What are you even doing here? Think of something else. You just can't do it. You can't use professor in the school about magic specifically. And I know they tried to, I thought the writer was kind of sly where she was like, oh, it's a war college. It's not a school, it's a college. Shut up, bruv. It's a school.
I've put Violet's in it. Fucking emotional wreck. She falls to her knees. She falls to her knees crying with tears of joy that her sister's alive. Does she not realise that her sister's a battle-hardened warrior? And even if she were to die, which is quite likely, it was her sister's choice. She needs to put her needs to put an emotional block on her reactions for her own self-preservation. You know, her sister didn't break down in emotional wreck when she was sending her to the trials. I said, what does that dumb bitch think this has been doing the whole time while she's been at Girl Guides playing soldier? She's been on front lines the whole time.
Violet's been busy getting her back blown out. Mira's been doing real work, you know.
So I don't know why.
I was worried about her. Worried about me. I was worried about you.
I've also put Violet's so stupid she doesn't even realise that she doesn't know anything about the person that she's been lost in over for the last 9 months, and it took her sister to bring it to her attention how stupid and naive she is. So I've definitely got a vendetta.
Yeah, nah, she was not a good character at all. She was annoying. I didn't like her. I didn't find anything. I didn't root for her. You know when you're supposed to root for the main character. I didn't root for her. I didn't want her to die, but it's like I was just like, bro, you're not getting me on your side. You're not winning me over whatsoever. I was like, Zayden won me over in the first scene where he had extended dialogue. He won me over straight away. The tree scene, straight away. The first scene where he had like actually contributed something to the plot, won me over straight away. Violet never won me over from the beginning to the end. I was literally like, you're annoying.
I put, can you imagine that the arsehole Jack, as Violet calls her, because I said I don't think he's an arsehole. You know, he's a murderous cunt, but you know.
They missed a golden opportunity to call him Jackass, by the way. Which is what I thought. Golden opportunity. It was right there for the taking as well. So Jack beat Liam fair and square, sliced him and diced him, kicks him off his dragon to his death, and Superman Violet stops time to save Liam. Such bullshit. Well, I said it would have definitely been more suspenseful, in my opinion, if she fucked up her time stopping power because of a lack of experience, and, for example, frozen everybody but her. So that would mean she couldn't do anything but watch Liam as he was frozen in time with him dying. So what I'm trying to say is, if she had, you see how she froze time for everybody except her and the dragon, which caught him. Yeah.
It was an example. It was an opportunity for the writer to allow Violet to mess up, to show that she's inexperienced, and she freezes everybody but herself, and she's just sitting there on her dragon watching Liam, and Dana can only hold it for so long, lets him go, and Liam still drops and dies.
That would have been perfect. It would have showed that she's flawed. It would have showed that she's not perfect.
And we would have lost someone. I think we lost Liam anyway.
Like I said, it would have been that emotional content that we need, because desperation, like she tried so hard only for him to still die. Exactly. That would have been perfect. But like I said, bro, this writer for some reason wants Violet to just succeed at everything at the first time of asking. There is no manual on freezing time. How is she that good at it?
Yeah. And I put Rider, a Dragon Rider, such a boring name. They could have been Dragon Wielders, Dragon Kings, or anything.
They could have been
Riders. We got Riders and we got Flyers. It's they're boring.
Yeah, they could have been something. They could have been something.
I said Zayden and Violet's sex scene is so cringy. It's so lustful, disgusting. The problem that I have with sex scenes is that they are written. Let me give you an example. When you write an action scene, you want it to be the best action scene the reader's written. Same for the sex scene. It's too steamy beyond what's realistic. They literally damaged everything in the bedroom from now on. It was just too much. It was like,
come on, man. It was like, do you know what's funny? Do you know why? The reason why I kind of give the sex scene a little bit of slack, because when you're a writer, especially a successful writer, which I assume this lady is, you got to do what works. You got to do what they want.
Yeah.
Have you ever read 50 Shades of Grey?
No.
You never read 50 Shades of Grey?
Assume that I've watched that.
I don't know. I said read it. I've never watched it.
No, reading it's probably worse.
Nah, reading it. Do you know what?
Oh, so you watched it too?
Yeah, I watched it. I haven't read it.
With who?
Huh? With who? Nah,
it's not filming watch alone.
Nah, no.
Just with tissues
and the bottle of lotion on the table. Nah, but in all seriousness though, the way it was written, I was just like, how is this trending? How is this trending? How is this book trending?
We're gonna have to skip.
It's what people want. Yeah, just pick one more.
I had a thought. Did Zayden betray his own blood, his own father, to save the 107 children? Is that why he has the 107 markings on his body? Why else?
Yeah,
you know that. Why else?
107 as well.
No, but he saved children. He said he had an opportunity to save the children. What, like, how did that come across? And he keeps saying to Violet, "You don't know me. Don't fall for me." Cringe on cringe on cringe.
Even that's
no. Cringe on cringe. I need you, Violet. If you don't walk out of this room right now, I'm going to have you naked on your back in 2 minutes. I said, this is some hedonistic, lust-filled filth. If this is what women like to read, then they truly are demonic.
Yeah, it
was too much.
Haram. Man said, I'm going to have you. Nah, there's no way. Me personally, Yeah, no, it's just no one says that. No one's gonna say that. No one said that. Nobody says that, man. I'm gonna have you.
Alright, last ones then.
Yes. Mine are mainly the predictions, and we've covered everything I predicted already. To be fair, mainly stuff like Violet's gonna find her way into Zayden's bed. So that's what I didn't like. She made it painfully obvious early on that these lot was gonna be a love interest.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you should really give yourself time to grow into that. If it needs to be over the course of a couple of books, make it over the course of a couple of books, because the payoff will be there. If you make it take long, the payoff will be there. Like the whole thing about, oh yeah, they hate each other, they love each other. Bro, that's Johnson and Egret again. Like, this has been done, nothing new under the sun.
Yeah, I've put a nice little plot twist. Dane stole Violet's memory. It's funny, Violet had the bloody cheek to be annoyed with Xaden when she couldn't keep his secret for 5 minutes. Man took this thing already. And also, I put the penultimate chapter from Xaden's point of view was full poetry. We finally understand why Xaden loves Violet, and it makes sense. It's ultimately her raw kindness, selfishness, which is understandable and logical. On the other hand, Violet loves Xaden for his good looks. It's 100% lustful. Yes, Xaden has done many things, but she didn't know any of that. And she was already dying of lust. I've also, last point, I think the writer missed the trick, or maybe I'm wrong. She had a chance to try to be philosophical. She could have tried to define love instead of painting love out to be kissing, touching, and the feeling of needing. Because that's all we saw. Oh, I need you. Oh, I need you. Oh, I need you more. And it was just like, come on, you should have. Yeah, it was just. It's
infatuation. Lust doesn't say.
And the ending. The ending. Welcome to the revolution, Violet. Did you like that?
No, I didn't like it. I wanted Brendan to stay dead, bro. I wanted to stay dead. I know. But rebellion's fine. I'm fine with the rebellion thing or the revolution. Well, was it rebellion?
He switched on to the good guys. You know, he had to die to do that.
Exactly. So leave him dead.
No, but he had the only way for him to switch sides clean is he has to die.
I understand that,
but he caused his own dad to die.
Exactly. I understand it, bro. I understand that they use him coming back as a plot to lead into the second book, to give you something to like, yes, now I want to read the second book because I know what's going to be happening. Yeah. So I decided to divide, but I'm just like, bro, remember when I said nothing new under the sun? I literally said, do you know what my prediction? My prediction wasn't even Brendan coming back, it was going to be the dad who was going to factor in somehow, even though he was supposed to be dead. That's what my prediction actually was.
Do you know what? I forgot what I was going to say. So, okay, answer me this. Do you want to read the second book?
Yeah, because
then she's done a good job.
She did a good job, but that's why I said I give it 6 out of 10. That's over half. So intrinsically, that's a good job.
I think
could have been done better.
For me, this is why I say ratings are difficult, because 6 out of 10 is like it's not really worth. It's damn near a 5, and 5 isn't good enough.
You have to look at it.
Wait. Let me go. 5 isn't worth recommending. Right, and 6 is the same pretty much. But 6 isn't worth recommending. You're not going to say, "Oh, I want you to read this book." It's a 6.
No, but nobody. You're saying 6. Think of it like 60% rather than 50%.
Yeah.
Someone says you want half of this, and you're 60%. Bro, that's a big difference.
Obviously it's better, but if you're going to recommend a book, it has to be fantastic.
Not necessarily.
I'm not recommending no either.
How many fantastic books are you think every book that gets published is going to be fantastic, or even a majority of them?
No, not
lots of them are just mid.
Yeah, of course, but you
respectfully, this is a mid, but
you can't have a fantastic book without having a mid book, because if all the books are fantastic, then none of them are
exactly.
Fantastic.
So,
but without getting philosophical, right?
Yeah.
If you want to read this book again, not for the podcast, then you have to. Surely 6 is giving it too harsh.
To be fair, I thought you meant for the next episode. Like, I wouldn't just go out and buy it and read it.
Like, so you wouldn't?
No.
You don't. Okay, so it's not worth your time reading it.
Not really, but
I'm emotionally invested. I want to read it.
I like things about it. I like lots of things about it, but it's the kind of thing. If you're the main character's gonna piss me off every time I open this book, then like, why? How long do you want to persist with this?
You're colder than me. I have a heart, you know. Like I want to know. I want to know what happens to Zane and Violet. You know, I want to know.
No, I don't know. Yeah. But I didn't want them to be together anyways. I didn't want them to be together anyways. I was like, this is a classic toxic relationship. Toxic woman. I literally said, I'm removed from this. I wash my hands of this.
Haram.
Like I said, haram. I wash my hands of this. I wash my hands.
Okay. Cool. Alright, I mean, I've got a couple more points and we will talk to, but this is gonna be small.
Yeah, we'll roll the extended cut.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to be.
We should have a book lined up for you guys to read immediately, but we don't, so we're gonna think about that and we're gonna put it in the comments. So, because, as I said, this is supposed to be an ongoing thing. We're gonna talk about books that you guys have read, and you can put in the comments and you can, you know, say who's right and who's wrong, because, you know, most of his points were subpar. You know, it's just no joke. No, I'm impressed with what you did, with what you said. You know, but yeah, it's been good. It's been fun. It's been interesting. We need to get on to the next book.
Definitely.
And you hit the deadline too. I said Saturday.
Yeah, no, 100%.
You know, he read for his birthday. It was yesterday. He read for his birthday, and he read through it.
Literally.
You know, so you know, we got to
people went to see me. I put my phone on airplane mode up.
and got to finish the work.
Yeah, got to finish the work.
But yes, thank you for watching, even though there's nobody there, you know. But it's been interesting, yeah.
Literally. And we're going to have a better name than the Book of Eli Club, but...
Can you really have a better name than that? I mean, the Book of Eli Club. I mean, come on, it's Eli. And do you know what? The significance of it is my name's Elijah.
Yeah.
In case no one knew.
Which movie, the Book of Eli.
Yeah. Come on,
Did you ever see that, by the way? I never actually saw it.
I only saw it recently, as in the last 2 years.
Was it good?
I didn't watch it properly, and I didn't realise better than this crap. But yeah, listen, out.